Ahway Islanders! If you want more Ahway Island content, check out our Patreon memberships at patreon.com/Ahway Island. You can get access to the whole Ahway Island library, ad-free episodes, and much more. That's patreon.com/Ahway Island. And now, it's time for a relaxing meditation and a new story.
Hello, Ahway Islanders. We're so glad you're here. Let's see if you have everything you want to be calm on Ahway Island. Are the lights in your room dim or off? Do you have your favorite blanket or listening buddy? Before we begin our story, let's relax by taking a nice, deep dragon breath. Breathe in through your nose, filling up your lungs, and then out through your mouth, imagining you are breathing fire like a dragon. Ready? Deep breath, in and out. Good job. As your chest, arms, and shoulders relax, think of a puffin family hugging their baby puffin in their cozy burrow. You feel connected and loved, just like the baby puffin. As you think about the puffin family, your heart feels happy and warm. Place your hands on your chest, close your eyes, and let's take another deep dragon breath together. Ready? Deep breath, in and out. Now, think about your family. Every family is unique. Maybe your family includes parents or siblings or grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins, or friends, pets, nannies, caregivers, teachers. Whoever your family is, and wherever they are, send your loving energy out to them. And let's take one more deep dragon breath, in and out. Loving energy surrounds you, and like the baby puffin, you feel safe and loved. Great job, everyone. I hope you are tucked in nice and cozy. Okay, I think we're ready to begin our story. Let's be calm on Ahway Island. Our story today is a muddy hike. It was a wet and rainy day in the warehouse. Raindrops were tapping against the window as puddles began to form outside the door. Protected from the storm outside, inside the workers of the warehouse were busy packing up hiking poles and sending them out for delivery. Some workers were ensuring that the hand grips were securely fastened to the hiking poles. Others were busy inspecting the ends of the poles, making sure the tips were ready to grip the ground securely. Himpa the hiking pole was patiently waiting for their turn for inspection as they pondered what their new life was going to be like. Who was their new owner going to be? What kind of terrain were they going to hike on? Himpa was deep in thought when another hiking pole spoke up. The other hiking pole asked, "Are you excited for your new journey to start?" Himpa was excited. "Yes," said Himpa. "I hope I get an amazing person that takes me hiking on all sorts of trails." "How about you?" Himpa asked the other hiking pole just as they were being placed in their individual boxes for shipment. "Me too," the other hiking pole called back. "I just hope I don't go somewhere where it is cold and wet. I don't want to get all muddy," the hiking pole noted. Himpa hadn't considered the possibility of getting dirty before. "Bye," called the other hiking pole as Himpa was nestled into protective brown craft paper inside a long box. Then the workers shut the box and taped it closed, leaving Himpa in darkness. Considering the possibility of getting dirty, Himpa's excitement melted into nervousness. Himpa felt the box shuffle and get bumped here and there. Cozy in the brown craft paper, Himpa didn't mind the movement and eventually fell asleep. A bright ding-dong from a doorbell woke Himpa. Himpa heard someone open the door and say, "Thank you for delivering my package. Have a great day." Another voice said, "You're welcome. I hope you have a nice day as well." As the recipient carried the box inside, they shook it. Himpa didn't appreciate being jostled, but was excited to meet their new owner nonetheless. They heard the rumble of the tape being torn off the box. Light streamed in as the flaps were opened. Soon, Himpa saw a face peering into the box. The person had a kind face and short hair that was mostly covered by a large, wide-brimmed hat. They were smiling. There was a patch on the front of the hat that had mountains and trees on it. The person's shirt was brown and it had a front pocket. On the front pocket was a patch that said Ranger. The ranger's smile broadened as he took Himpa out of the box. He gripped the hand grip and held the pole at arm's length. The ranger appreciated the nicely balanced weight of the hiking pole and commented, "Ah, this is perfect. This hiking pole is going to be so helpful while I hike through the woods by the river." Himpa began to worry. Woods? River? Woods meant that there were a lot of trees and a lot of dirt. If there were a lot of trees, there wouldn't be a lot of sun, which meant the dirt would get wet from the river and it would be muddy. And Himpa really didn't want to get muddy. The ranger grabbed his jacket from the hook next to the door and then picked up the backpack on the floor. He put the backpack on his back and hooked Himpa around his wrist. He walked out the door, locking it behind him. Then he headed towards the woods. The trailhead was a short distance away. The trail led directly into the woods, which were dark and cool. As soon as the ranger was on the trail, he started using Himpa along the path. Plunk, plunk, plunk was the sound Himpa made as their tip made contact with the dirt. Soon the ranger reached the top of a hill that overlooked a long valley below. there was a meandering river flowing through the valley. The ranger resumed the hike, carefully staying on the path so as not to disturb the native plants along the sides. The path wound downward in switchbacks, heading towards the valley below. As they neared the bottom, the dirt on the path became increasingly damp. Some of it began to cling to Himpa's tip. Himpa did not like the feeling of the dirt clinging to the tip. Once at the bottom, the ranger sat on a large boulder and rested a moment. Himpa listened to the trickle of the river. The ranger leaned the hiking pole on the boulder as he took off his backpack and unzipped it to get a bottle of water. While the ranger rested and rehydrated, Himpa began to look around. Next to the boulder was some deep pine green moss growing in the shade. In the river swam brilliant silvery gray fish, their scales shimmering in the sunlight that peeked through the branches of the trees. Up above, tree branches swayed in a gentle dance as the breeze rustled their leaves. The water in the river was crisp and clear, having had all impurities filtered away on its trip into the valley. Yes, there was so much on this amazing hike to appreciate that Himpa had completely forgotten about being muddy. If the ranger hadn't done this hike, the hiking pole would have missed all the beauty there was to enjoy down in this valley. Instead of caring about being dirty, Himpa wanted to see more. Just as the hiking pole felt ready to continue, the ranger stood up, put away his water bottle, and donned his backpack. He stood for a moment, looking around and taking a deep breath of the sweet valley air. Then he tipped his hat in gratitude for the peaceful respite before taking the hiking pole in hand once more. As the ranger continued the hike, pausing here and there to inspect things, Himpa made a point of focusing on all the interesting things there were to enjoy in the experience. The song of the birds soaring overhead, the refreshing breeze that whooshed by, and the satisfaction of knowing the new hiking pole was making the ranger's hike less difficult. With those thoughts foremost, Himpa realized that sometimes going out of your comfort zone is what is necessary to experience new things. It was an important lesson. Finally, it was time for the ranger to turn around and hike back to the ranger station. Himpa really helped the ranger a lot going back up. It was a proud moment for the new hiking pole. Once at the station, the ranger turned on the hose and rinsed all the mud off of Himpa. Then the ranger unlocked the door and went inside. He leaned Himpa against the wall to dry in the air and set aside his backpack. Time to head home for the day, the ranger noted. As he picked up the keys to the station and walked to the door, he looked at Himpa and said, "You're a great hiking pole. Thanks for helping me on the hike today." Then he left, turning off the light and locking the door behind him. Himpa beamed with pride at the compliment. As the hiking pole dried in the air, leaning comfortably against the wall, Himpa began to relax and think of all the new things there were to be grateful for. Himpa was grateful to have been sent to live in a place so full of beautiful nature. Himpa took a deep dragon breath, in and out. relaxing even more. Himpa was also grateful to have been given such an important job assisting a ranger in his work. Himpa took another deep dragon breath, in and out. Most of all, Himpa was grateful to learn that going outside of your comfort zone can open the door to amazing new experiences. That lesson made Himpa feel resolved to try as many new things as possible whenever the opportunity arose. With one last deep dragon breath, in and out. Himpa's mind quieted, and Himpa fell asleep, dreaming of the next hiking adventure with the ranger. Thank you for joining us to be calm on Ahway Island. See you next time.